This is CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, and you're listening to Python's Paradise, your film and music show. And this is your host, Greg Gilbert, a.k.a. the Python Hyena. And folks, I have a great guest on here today. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Superbad, among other things. And the fellow I have on the phone has a very distinct role in that film that he's probably more proud of than maybe some of his peers. I don't know, but we certainly love him for it. We have Casey Margolis. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. What's the weather like in Vegas?
You know what? It's actually a lot. I mean, probably compared to where you're at, it's nothing. But for us, it's a little bit cold. It's on the colder side.
Have you ever been up this way before?
Over on the West Coast, over in Vancouver. I have quite a few friends out there. I was actually in a movie out there, directed by my friend.
Okay. Yeah, we're out. We're in the east side. New Brunswick is one of those never heard places. You never hear of us in the movies.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day I'm going to make that happen. But I always say to my guests, probably the closest we have to celebrities is probably the Trailer Park Boys. Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah, no, totally. My Vancouver friends, they introduced me to Trailer Park Boys.
I love the Trailer Park Boys. They've done 3 movies, and I think it was Ivan Reitman directed their first, or produced their first.
Yeah. Now I think they're picked up by Netflix or something as well.
Yeah, because like Superbad, I guess they're too crass for conservative audiences. Yeah. Wow, I remember seeing Superbad in theaters. I can't believe it's been 10 years. What do you think when you look back on that?
I'll be honest with you. When you first contacted me and mentioned that it's been 10 years, I thought you were wrong, and then I looked it up, and then I realized, oh wow, it's actually been a full 10 years. So no, it's weird, man. Time has definitely gone by super fast.
Yes, and of course you played the younger version of Jonah Hill in the film, and you got this distinction of being the kid that drew pictures of dicks.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I loved it throughout high school. It was fantastic.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking, when you did Superbad?
Yeah, so I was actually 10 years old when I filmed the movie. So I'm 20 now. So
what did your parents think?
You know what? They didn't actually really realize what I was drawing in the film until the premiere. So that was kind of a shock. Luckily, my parents have always been very liberal and very cool about things. So, they kind of embrace it, and they kind of poke fun at it a little bit. Maybe even a little bit more than my peers in high school. So.
Yeah, there was some pretty creative dick pictures drawn there. I'm guessing you weren't the drawer of the pictures, huh?
I was not. That was actually a whole art department. But a lot of people actually believe that I was the guy who actually drew them, and it's honestly a little bit flattering. I mean, it's a lot better than I could have ever done.
Yeah, can you imagine? You could put those on cards and.
Oh yeah, no, it would be a family favorite for sure.
So who was more shocked, your mom or your father, or your mom or dad?
Definitely my mom. I think for sure. For a while, she was a little bit embarrassed by it, and then she kind of warmed up to it. Now, again, like I said, she just kind of poked fun at it. Her kid is the dick drawer from a movie, so. I guess it's something, right?
That's your claim to fame, huh?
Yeah, no, it's a weird claim to fame, but I will admit that I use it more often than you might think. It's a great icebreaker for sure.
Yeah? You got a girlfriend?
I do not.
Well,
although I have been hitting up Tinder a little bit lately, and yeah, no, I mean that's definitely my go-to.
Are you gonna use the dick drawing thing as your icebreaker?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I honestly have nothing else, so I've got to use what I got.
Well, you're more ahead of the game than me. I'll say that. I can't even use that.
Oh man,
I have to use that simple thing called deceit.
There we go.
If
you ever want to claim that you were the dick drawer in Superbad, you go ahead. You have my blessing.
I remember.
The more the merrier, right?
I remember Rodney Dangerfield said in the movie Back to School, he goes, "You don't lie to me, you lie to girls."
That's the way to do
it, man. Yes. So, how did you get the part? Was it just a standard audition, or is it just because you had a similar look to Jonah Hill?
Right. So, originally, I had about a week before the audition for Superbad, I had auditioned for an episode of The Office.
Okay.
And the same casting director, she was actually casting for Superbad the following week, and she remembered me, and so she called my agency and was like, "Hey, have Casey come try for this role." And then, we did the whole audition process. It was all improv, and I ended up getting a call back. And I remember sitting in a room, just waiting to go in to meet Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow, Greg Mottola, all the guys behind the camera and I guess in front. And I remember just being in a room full of people that looked like me, and that was a weird thing to experience. But yeah, I went into the callback room, and then I got to improv with Seth, and he acted as if he was a principal, and I just had to act as if I'd gotten in trouble and I was denying it, and I made him laugh a lot, and that was about it, man. It was cool though.
Seth Rogen acting as a principal. A little stretch for him, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely. But he nailed it, man. He nailed it for sure.
Well, out of all the dick pictures, was there a favorite you had?
All right, that's I've actually never received this question before. And it's been 10 years of dick drawing questions, so that's impressive. That's a feat for you, my friend. You know what? The only one that's in my mind right now is the one with the gorilla and the banana is the dick. I mean, that was pretty creative. It was pretty genius. So I'd probably have to go with that one.
I gotta wonder the mindset of somebody coming up. That poor art department guy has to sit down and draw these.
No, it's fantastic. I remember there were it was a trailer full of people. It was a whole team just crafting these masterpieces.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a lot of the drawings, like the Medusa. Instead of the snakes, it was the penises. And
no, they got super creative.
They got super creative. So, was that what was the process like for you in doing your scenes? Were you nervous, or were you comfortable and confident going through this?
You know what? I think the only real stressful part about the whole process was the callback, because you look in the eyes of 30 other chubby Jew kids, and you see all of your competition, then you have to go up and you have to improv with these people that already know what they're doing. But after that, it was very easy. It was very, very easy. Because I think everybody on set made it that way. Everybody was very cool, welcoming. I think it was definitely the best set I've worked on ever.
So tell me, do you you mentioned meeting girls and stuff? Do you bring a lunchbox full of dick pictures with you?
I don't go that far. Although maybe I should try that one out.
I like that dialogue by Jonah Hill. What was it, Ghostbusters, Dick Treasure Chest or something like that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. No, I have not done that yet, but I think that might actually be my next move. Now that you brought that up.
See, I'm helping you out here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna get a bunch of girls now.
There you go. If it works, you let me know, and I might try that myself.
Definitely, I'll let you know.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, you played the younger version of Jonah Hill. Did you meet Jonah Hill?
Oh yeah, definitely. So my part, I think it took about 11 days to film. Believe it or not, for like 3 minutes.
Wow.
So I got to hang out around him. Christopher Mintz-Plasse, I really I became pretty good friends with him. He's McLovin. Yeah. It was
or as the drunk guy says, McMuffin.
Yeah, McMuffin. No. No, him and I got along very well. I actually didn't meet Michael Cera formally until reshoots a few months after the initial shooting, and he was actually one of the coolest guys ever. Super duper shy, and he was very like down to earth, and I was able to like just talk with him quite a bit. But yeah, everybody on that set, Jonah, Seth, Michael, yeah, they were all very cool people.
Well, you had this scene where when you were sitting at the desk and you got discovered because the poor girl picked up the wrong sheet of paper, and you ended up having to shovel those down your mouth. What was that process like?
You know what? I just remember it wasn't even in the script. They were just like, hey, let's try this. Just shove paper in your mouth. And I remember everybody just like lost it after we cut. Because I just thought it was so funny. And then it made it.
What was on the piece of paper that she picked up? Obviously not a dick drawing because the girl's underage.
It was a blank piece of paper. And I'll tell you, every single scene that showed my hand drawing, that legally, like I couldn't, look at the photos.
Okay.
So that is actually a hand double for me.
That girl that picked the paper up, like, what was the process like to get her to react like that? What did they tell her? Were you there for that? Because wondering how they got her to react that way without actually. How do you tell her to react to something like that without getting gruesome?
No, I think they were just like, for a while. I remember it was a few takes, and they just wanted her to like freak out completely, like really, really scream. So it was just, I think they like described it like a horror movie to her, and then she nailed it. I mean, she got the scream down for sure.
Tell me, have you been in trouble in school for worse stuff than that, or was that your worst offense?
You know what? In high school, 6th through 8th grade, I was actually homeschooled. And then all of high school, so 9th through 12th, I went to public. And I will tell you, the second I got my license was the second I really stopped. I was habitually truant, so I barely went to school. And all of my friends can vouch for that. I was probably the most truant person at my high school.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, I got along with everybody, including the vice principal. So I got off pretty scot-free. So I guess the dick drawing thing's like the most trouble I've ever gotten into.
Was high school? That was after the dick drawing. Yeah, that would have been.
Right. Yeah. So 14. When I was 14 up until I was 18, I was in high school.
Holy cow! Gee, if I had known dick drawings would get people out of trouble, I would have tried that.
No, I remember. This is a pretty funny story that I haven't really told many people. I remember I was in my freshman studies class, and somebody had actually drawn a dick, right? And it was just like, it was completely unrelated to the fact that I drew dicks, and then the teacher found it, and she like immediately like blamed me for it and got super pissed off, and I had to like just constantly deny. I was like, that was a movie, like I didn't do it, like it was pretty rough.
Did they find the culprit?
You know what? They never did, and I'm pretty sure she still thinks that I was a dick drawer. So, you know, it's fine. It kind of comes with the whole title, I guess.
Was it just a plain dick?
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything spectacular like we saw in Superbad.
Didn't you tell your teacher that you're more creative than that?
You know, I should have. That would have been good. You know, and then she would have seen, you know, compare it to the screen. There's no way I would do something this amateur.
So what was it like first meeting Jonah Hill? Was he surprised, the resemblance?
You know what? I don't even know if he really reacted. I think he was just like, I remember when I first met him, he was very cool. And he didn't really have much of a reaction, honestly.
Well,
I guess he's just used to people, you know, being miniature versions of him that draw dicks. So, I don't know.
Well, he was raped in Satan, and this is the end. So maybe he's not reacting to much these days.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, it's interesting because it was Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg that wrote Superbad, and it's funny because yesterday I interviewed one of the voice actors from Sausage Party.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Scott Diggs Underwood, who is the voice of Twink, Gum, Mr. Pizza, and Crinkles Chips. And I had, yeah, he's from here in Canada, and I got in touch with him. So I've talked a lot about the combination of Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, and I gotta say, I hope they never split because I love the observation in their humor. They're very crass, but at the same token, very believable in the way they create situations and characters. I think they're terrific screenwriters.
Oh, definitely. No, everything they make is just pure gold, for sure.
Well, Superbad, for example, you know, I like it just starts out with that car coming right at the screen. Of course, Jonah Hill in it on his phone. They're talking about pornography with Michael Cera. And I think the movie, I related so much to a lot of what was going on in this movie. And I think of a lot of it was Jonah Hill. I related a lot to his character, and I think one of the things that really got me is how far he was willing to go, despite the needs of other people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But Michael Cera, you said you didn't meet him until much later, until the premiere, huh?
Yeah. So actually, it was like the reshoot. We had to do a few pickup shots, and then and he was there, and he just introduced himself as Mike. I had just gotten done like watching Arrested Development, so that was pretty neat for me. I was like, oh, okay, you're on this thing, and no, he was a very cool dude.
Yeah, he got slapped by Rihanna, and this in the end. So
yeah,
I liked him as Scott Pilgrim a lot.
Oh no, yeah, that was actually one of my favorite movies for a while.
That is a fantastic movie. Loved him in that, and of course you mentioned Christopher. How do you say his last name? Mintz-Plasse.
Mintz-Plasse.
McLovin.
I don't know. I've heard a bunch of different versions of it.
We'll call him McLovin, or
yeah.
Actually, we can't. Well, I won't repeat his name in Kick-Ass.
No, yeah, but he was very, very cool, and I kept in touch with him a couple years after for a couple years after Superbad filmed, and he was a very cool dude.
Well, he doesn't keep in touch with you now?
Some people, they just kind of drift.
Well, he drifted a lot in that film. He drifted.
Yeah, definitely.
Drifted right onto a police cruiser, and of course, Seth Rogen and Bill Hader as these cops, the worst cops you could ask for.
Definitely. I would not want them patrolling my neighborhood, that's for sure. Or maybe I would. I don't know.
Well, you got to admit, they were a couple of guys that had professional jobs, but they kind of wanted to be young. They wanted to remember the days of yesteryear.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember when they smashed up the police car, that people in the audience just cheered.
Oh man!
Did you meet Bill Hader?
You know what? That is the one person I wish I had met. I never met Bill.
You know what? Scott was saying yesterday for the Sausage Party interview, he never even got to meet Bill Hader. Bill Hader, I don't think he was even at the premiere. Bill Hader just must be hard to find.
Maybe Bill Hader isn't even real. Maybe he's an animatronic,
That could be.
Character. Yeah.
Maybe Firewater's more real than him.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be. What was Seth Rogen like?
Seth Rogen is like one of the nicest people I've ever met, just period. He's right behind Samuel L. Jackson on the nice list. I will say that.
Oh, you met Sam?
Yeah. I was actually like in an ESPN ESPY award spot with him. And he was like the nicest dude in the world. And I don't know, maybe he seemed even nicer because I was like terrified that he was going to yell at me about like snakes on a plane or something before I met him. But no, he was like the nicest dude ever. I've had some I've only had like one really bad like on-set experience where people were, that stereotypical like Hollywood I don't know, kind of uptight kind of people. But
do you want to talk about that experience?
Yeah, I won't say what. I will say it was a TV show.
Okay.
That I was in. And all I'll say is basically what happened was they were not happy with the job I did, and I was about 12 at the time.
Okay.
And they made a point to call my agent to tell me directly that they would never hire me again, and they were like, I was the worst actor that they ever worked with. They went out of their way to tell a 12-year-old that they basically hated his guts. So that was like, there was a bunch of other like little stuff while on set and things like that. But I mean, that can be LA sometimes. That's the thing. And I think that's a big reason why I'm very hesitant to even think about going back into acting or in that industry.
Was that before Superbad?
That was actually after. So Superbad was my first role. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Screw them, huh?
Yeah, no. I mean,
you're the one on the radio right now talking about a 10-year anniversary of what's going to be a cult classic, so screw them.
There we go, man. I will forever be known as the dick drawer, and I'll take that with me, and I will raise it.
Next time you draw dicks, just draw them.
Yeah, no, I should.
No, that was just uncool. Especially at 12 years old, that you'd think they would know better than that.
No, for sure, and that's my, I don't know. There's a lot of like that kind of stuff in the industry, but also there is on the other side of things, like there's a lot of really cool people. Like when I was like working on The Hangover, Bradley Cooper and Justin Bartha and Zach Galifianakis, they were all like the coolest people I've ever met,
It's always nice to meet cool people like Samuel L. Jackson. You know, like I didn't even know you had met him, and
Yeah.
and he just so confident on screen, the way he carries himself. It's
Oh, for sure. And he's just like the kindest person, you know. I guess with anything though, like with any industry, there's gonna be, you know, cool people, and then there's also gonna be fucking dickheads. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Oh, go ahead. It's a podcast. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's a podcast. You're okay.
All right.
When it goes out on YouTube, it ain't gonna make a difference. So.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, I like Seth Rogen a lot, and I hope he and Evan Goldberg continue to do some great writing projects that translate into some good movies. I really can't stand listening to these right-wing conservative types complain about their style of movies, and then they come out with junk like Fireproof and which just lame.
Can't please them all, man. It's annoying.
But there was other interesting people in Superbad I got to address, and I'm going to tell you one thing that I can relate to so much every time I watch Superbad. And I'm going to tell you right now, since it's a 10-year anniversary of the film, I have had a crush on Emma Stone ever since I first saw her in that film. And seeing her in La La Land, I still think she's beautiful.
Man, you know, everybody goes crazy for Emma Stone.
Yeah. I first saw her in that film, and I think one of the reasons I and is so enamored is that maybe it's because I related to Jonah Hill. I know what it's like to be so into a female, especially at that teenage years, so into a woman that you do everything you can to try to get her attention. Of course, in this case, Jonah Hill is up to buying liquor for her party. And he goes through a night of pure hell just to try to get that liquor to her, you know, because he just wants to have that night where he just wants to have a night to have sex with her, because he doesn't even think he's good enough for her, which in a way I can kind of relate to, because I never thought I was good enough. And what I found interesting, you know, I love that scene where that pivotal moment where he's teary-eyed, and we find out she really is a nice girl, but his expectations are not met, and I know how that feels.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I feel like a lot of people can, you know, resonate with that character. I mean, it's happened to me, and you know, it's happened to you, and I think that's what really, you know, makes it such a great film. It's like, it's hilarious, it's very funny, it's very lighthearted, but it's also got, you know, depth to it. And I think that, you know, alone just makes a good film. It turns a good film into a great film when it has depth.
And of course, when he's so drunk, he falls forward and accidentally headbutts her. Her reaction was priceless.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting because, you know, since Superbad, Jonah Hill has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
And as of this year, Emma Stone is nominated for her 2nd Academy Award. And I'm going to tell you, it's been fun watching Emma. I mean, nice to look at, but it's really nice seeing her. Yeah, but it's really nice seeing her transcend as an actress, because she really does have a lot of depth. And seeing her in La La Land this year, you know, she's got a lot of range.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And you know, when Jonah Hill came out in Moneyball, I was like, I think that was like really when people realized how great of an actor he was too. Like, both of them just, you know, they kill it. They're great, and it's very cool to see, that was kind of like their beginnings. I know Jonah was in like the 40-Year-Old Virgin for like a second, but like Superbad is really what brought him, got him to fruition. So
did he have the goldfish boots?
He did not have the goldfish boots. I wish he did though. I 100% wish he did.
Well, that's why one scene in 40-Year-Old Virgin purchasing the goldfish boots. All you wanted to do was pick those up, and he couldn't.
It's tough like that, man. Sometimes you want the goldfish boots, but you can't have them.
But Emma wasn't the only lovely lady in the film. Martha McIsaac, I found out totally by accident. I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm from, of course, Fredericton, New Brunswick, and we have a little place called Prince Edward Island not too far away. I did not know that was where Martha McIsaac was from. We used to...
I'll be honest with you. Who is Martha McIsaac?
Oh, only the one that Michael Cera was pursuing all through the film.
Ah, okay, all right.
The one that threw up on him.
Perfect.
But
wow, that's crazy.
I didn't know that she was actually from not too far away from me, and that's kind of a strange feeling considering Superbad's cult following, Definitely. That's very cool. Yeah. Another one I liked in the film, too, was, of course, the one that McLovin was pursuing. Aviva Bowman, I think is her last name. And you don't see a lot of her in the film, but, of course, you can kind of, in a way, you can kind of relate to McLovin wanting to get at that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We all have been there.
Definitely.
Yeah. Did you get to meet any of these people, any of the female characters?
You know what? I actually did not. So I think the majority of the people that I kind of hung around, it's really Chris and Seth and Jonah and all of those dudes. But I think they actually had different shooting times than I usually did. Because a lot of their stuff, I believe, was at night or inside of the high school, and mine were all like during the day, so I never really got to meet them.
Gee, I would have felt bad if I didn't meet Emma Stone. But I gotta say, oogling aside, it's kind of interesting to see her go from there to where she is now. I'm even with Birdman, it's interesting. You see them start in a movie like Superbad, and then you see them up for awards. That's a major thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy, and I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of that kind of stuff from them as well.
One other performance I gotta bring up too, and I actually have forgotten the name of the actor because I thought he was so friggin' funny in Superbad. The guy that was accidentally hit by the car. Something Low Trujillo.
Joe Low Truglio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so friggin' funny.
Oh, I love that guy. No, he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine now, and he kills it in that. And man, no, he's the one guy. I wish I kind of like got to hang out with a little bit more. I kind of just wish I was able to hang out with all of them a little bit more. But maybe they'll bring back Superbad or something.
Well, you know what? I loved it when they went to the party and he was like, "Oh, everything's fine." He ends up getting beat up because he wasn't supposed to be.
No.
But I thought he was, for the little bit of he has in the film, he's hysterical.
Oh yeah, no, he's so funny.
Yeah. So yeah, Superbad. You say your scenes only took how long did you say it took you to shoot your scenes?
It was about 11 days total for like 3.5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, they spread that thing out. But
Great movie.
it was a very cool experience, and I'm glad it was like the very first set that I ever went on, and it wasn't that other unnamed TV show. That was my first experience, because I feel like my pursuit would have been a lot shorter had it been, switched around.
You know what? Going by that TV show, how unprofessional can they get? That can, to somebody that's 12 years old, trying out something. I mean, that can crush somebody's spirits. Like
For sure.
Pathetic.
You're so impressionable, and it's like these people, mean the world to you, and to have feedback like that. I remember, I actually cried. Like, I cried because of the news. I'm like a 12-year-old dude, and they're just completely tearing me down.
Yeah. Wow. But you know what? You can thumb your nose at them, because Superbad, and then you had a bit part in The Hangover, which I thought was one of the best films of 2009. Great movie. What a shocker, fantastic comedy that was.
Yeah, no, that was a very cool thing to film too. Yeah, no, it was weird. I got pretty lucky with landing a couple roles in like the bigger films.
Well, The Hangover, you had that one scene. Of course, you get Zach Galifianakis saying, "I'm not supposed to be anywhere near school," or a Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. And of course, you're that one kid that's badgering Bradley Cooper, who's trying to get away for the weekend from his students, and you're the one that badgers him about an assignment.
Yeah, and then he's like, "It's the weekend, don't bother me, you don't exist." And you know what's funny about that? It's like the smallest scene in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that actually turned into a meme, like on the internet. So I'll get like friends that randomly like just send me that photo because it went viral. I remember, people like just seeing it on Facebook and Tumblr, and it's crazy because it's just like this little tiny part that I had, and then I got lucky, I guess, and it was just a very like funny and relatable scene.
So, what were the four fellas like? Bradley, Zach, and Ed, and Justin. What were they like?
Well, Justin actually he knew of my part in Superbad. Like, he loved Superbad. And he so in turn he loved me, which was like really crazy because I was like, this is a national treasure, dude. Like, he knows who I am. I remember he came up to me, he's like, dude, I loved you in your part in Superbad. Is cool.
Is he embarrassed that he did Gigli?
I don't know. Oh man, but and then Bradley Cooper. He was like a super cool guy. I remember him and I for a good 15-20 minutes. We were just like playing catch with a football, like in front of that school while we were waiting in between takes.
Oh wow!
He was just very personable, and that Galifianakis, he's just as weird in person. He's not very different. He's got that very dry sense of humor, but they're all very nice. Very good feeling when you walk on that set.
What about Ed Helms?
Ed Helms, I actually didn't really meet.
Was he not in the car? Was he not in the car then, or was that before they? He must have been in the car then. That would have been after they picked him up.
He was in the car. I think I said hi to him briefly. I might have a photo with him, but yeah, it wasn't a very the person I really hung out with on set was Bradley, and that was pretty cool.
You know what? You could use that as another niche to get women. The dick drawing, and you hung out with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, there we go. But then they'll want Bradley Cooper's number and completely forget about me. So.
Well, it could be kind of like the liquor thing in Superbad, I'm completely responsible for blah, blah, blah. I could be her mistake.
Definitely.
I like it. Jonah Hill said, "We could be that mistake."
Every man's goal to be the mistake.
Yeah. No, I love The Hangover. I suppose you probably didn't get to meet Heather Graham on that set, did you?
I did actually.
Oh, did you?
Wait, no. Sorry, no, I didn't meet Heather Graham on that set. There was a TV show. There was a pilot that I was in, and I was supposed to be a series regular on it. And she was also in the show, so I actually got to meet her there. I also met Rob Riggle. Shoot, who's Saul in Breaking Bad?
You know what? I actually don't watch television unless it's.
Okay.
I don't know. I know Bryan Cranston's in that, but.
Yeah, well, the guy who plays Saul in Breaking Bad.
Oh, Aaron Paul, maybe?
No,
What
Paul?
was?
It was.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, he was there too, and so that's actually how I got to meet Heather Graham, and you know she had like quite a few conversations with my mom, which was interesting. So.
Well, she was Roller Girl.
Yeah, no.
She breastfed in Hangover. I heard that
maybe that's what they're talking about.
I heard that Heather Graham is pretty much down for anything, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but I heard that she's that easy going when it comes to a movie.
She's just like a very nice person. Very like, you know. I really appreciate it, and I think that's why I put so much emphasis on like how nice people are. I really appreciate when actors on sets, especially when they're, you know, a bit more well-known, are actually kind. Because when they're not kind, they are the biggest douchebags in the world.
Oh, yeah, I read Autograph Collector magazine, so that top 10 worst list, I don't like to support their movies just because of the stuff that you hear about how they treat fans. And then you get people that are really nice. Yeah,
and those nice people, man, they really stick out in my book.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, being an actor, you're just, you know, entertaining people, and it's really just a job. And I think people kind of forget that when, you know, they become fame is just increased popularity, you know, and people forget that they're human beings just like everybody else, and it's really shitty to see that happen to, you know, quite a few people in the industry.
So Rob Riggle, what was your encounter like with him?
He was great. He complimented me about like how I was doing in the show, and we like hung around each other a lot, like joked a lot, but unfortunately didn't get picked up. It was between that and the show Mike and Molly, and Mike and Molly beat it out. But it was the same producers as 2.5 Men, actually.
Well, look at this. You know, you had that one bad experience, but you got a guy like, you know, Rob Riggle telling you you're really good. That's a positive.
Oh, for sure. And the one thing I remember Greg Mottola, the director of Superbad, saying when we were doing the reshoots, when he was just giving me a bunch of direction, I remember him saying, "This kid's going to make it big." And that's like always kind of stuck with me. I don't think I've ever received a compliment that made me feel that great.
Well, I reached out to you today, so I sought
I'm making it big, man.
I sought you out, and I don't seek out losers, so there you go.
I appreciate that, man. No, I really do. This has been super awesome.
But you have a few lesser-known movies I would like to bring light to for the Netflix people and maybe increase your name out there. I know I haven't seen these movies, so you'll have to school me on them, but Opposite Day.
So Opposite Day, I don't know if you've heard of the show Modern Family.
I've heard of it, yep.
Yeah, so a couple of an actress and an actor from Modern Family was actually in Opposite Day with me. In that movie, I play a Russian lab scientist, and it's basically a Freaky Friday kind of situation where kids all swap places with adults.
Okay.
And Pauly Shore's in that movie. Let's see, who else was in that? French Stewart, he's also in there. But yeah, no, it's definitely it's a good movie. It's more geared towards kids and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Yeah, I watched the trailer for it online. We did not get that here, but
yeah.
But,
Yeah. I think it is available on Netflix in the U.S.
Pleasant experience filming.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was like one. I'm not gonna say names.
Nope.
But this dude, I'm not gonna say names, but I'll say that
that's okay.
He's very famous, and he's a complete creep.
Okay.
And there was like a situation where like I basically had to avoid this person constantly, and this was like happening with other children on set. So but besides that, I made some like friends, like the girl from Modern Family. I'm still in touch with her, and the boy's sister. She's actually in a Disney Channel show, and we're friends on like Facebook, and so I got to meet some people that I'm still friends with, and that's very cool.
Okay.
So overall, it was a great experience.
Okay.
There was just that one weird thing with the actor, and yeah.
Another one you had listed is it Homefront?
Oh, My Hometown.
Oh, My Hometown. Okay. Okay, talk about that one.
Oh boy, that one was an interesting one, man. I don't even think anybody can watch it.
Oh.
It was a super low budget movie that I did. I met some cool people on that one as well, and it was like the movie. I feel like everybody kind of just has like a movie when you're an actor that you kind of just don't wish you could take back, but you just wish you kind of like thought about it a couple more minutes before you said yeah.
Okay.
And that one was it. I won't sugarcoat it. Like, it basically all of the DVDs were thrown away. The guy who created it tried to create his own Netflix and failed, and now I don't think there's any movie available to view. So it's gone forever. So I'm very comfortable with just saying that this kind of stuff.
But you hated.
I met some cool people. It was an experience. I was the lead character, so that was cool.
And you hated doing the film?
It was like very vulgar and not very good. And like for the trailer, you can look up the trailer on YouTube.
Okay.
For like the trailer, they stole the Superbad like trailer song, and it was, as far as movies go, it's probably on par with what's it called? The Room, as far as quality goes.
My first interview in 2015 was with Tommy Wiseau from The Room.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That is fantastic.
I had Tommy Wiseau on. That was my first. That was what dove me in. You're my 82nd interview. So it all started with Tommy and The Room.
Any career that begins with Tommy Wiseau is destined to flourish, my friend.
Oh,
that is awesome.
And like I got my own, like I got a YouTube channel going. I got 42 of my 82 interviews on there right now. Tommy Wiseau was the first one.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. That's great.
Another film that you did, and again I hadn't seen this, but although I read up on it, and it sounds like it might be something funny to see, is Shoot the Musical.
Oh, Shooting the Musical, yeah. Okay. So that was actually the one that my buddy out in Vancouver directed.
Okay.
And wrote. And that You know what? That one, as far as roles go, that might be my favorite role that I've ever played because I played myself.
Okay.
Just an asshole, drug addict version, basically.
Okay.
And it's one of the most edgy comedies out there. And my buddy, he's just he's great with that kind of stuff. I know he's going to go crazy far in the industry. So I would highly recommend checking that out.
Well, why wasn't it wide released? It looks like something that would have made money.
You know, it was just an indie film. I think my buddy shot it on $10,000, something like that, and he I think there was distribution talk, but I'm not too sure. Actually, I have to check in with him on that because I really want everybody to be able to watch that. That's one of the funniest movies I've ever been a part of, and it's definitely in the top 3 with Superbad and The Hangover. So.
Well, I should hope so. It actually looks interesting. I didn't see the trailer, but I was reading up on the synopsis and stuff, and I was like, it's kind of like making fun of the Step Up and the Glee and stuff like that. Is that correct? Am I saying that right?
It's a creature of its own, really. What I love about my buddy's movies is they all have such a solid commentary on actual issues that are happening in the world, and I don't know. It's hard to describe shooting the musical. It's just something that if you watch the trailer, I guarantee you'll want to watch the movie.
I am actually kind of interested to watch that movie. It's listed as on the Internet Movie Database as 2014. So, but I mean, if we're releasing 50 Shades of Black and all these parodies, most often nowadays are so bad. They're certainly not in the up in caliber of Airplane, that's for sure. You'd think that something like shooting the musical might be appealing to a vast audience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like I said, it's a creature of its own. I wouldn't even know if I would, put it in the parody category. It's good. It's really good. That's basically the takeaway from it. It's really fantastic. So I would recommend checking it out.
Okay, tell me, in your opinion, one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
Oh boy, shoot.
Get me interested here.
That is tough. I will say I do think that one of the funnier scenes in the movie is the rap video that I was part of.
Okay.
And it's just so ridiculous. I think I was snorting coke off of the backs of half naked women. It's just so ludicrous. It's hilarious. Let's see. And also just all of the musical numbers I think are the funniest bits. They're just, like I said, just so edgy. There's a track called "Would a Homo Do This?"
Okay.
And that's just a very edgy thing to poke fun at, but it really has a good heart behind the whole movie, and I think that's one of the funnier scenes as well.
Well, there's one thing I do need to ask. Does your ID have a picture of Jonah Hill and with his name on it?
It does not, but I'm working on the name change and the, couple of facial feature swaps. So,
just think, you might be able to steal roles from him.
Yeah, maybe I could take a couple of royalty checks too. That'd be cool.
Did he ever thank you for the Oscar nominations?
He did not, but I'm still waiting for my invitation to the next one. So.
I mean, after all, it started with you drawing dicks. I mean, it grew into him. I mean, he might kind of owe you,
Yeah, you know what? I gotta hit the guy up and tell him, he owes me. He owes me a bit.
You were kind of screwed. I mean, he ended up with Emma Stone in that movie. You ended up eating paper.
Exactly.
No. You need a little payback.
Yeah, no, I kind of got the short end of the stick, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah, you got to lash back on that.
Definitely. No, I'm gonna reach out. I'll tell you what he says.
Well, Casey, I'm really happy to find you there on Facebook. I don't know whether your thing is open for a friends request on there or not. If it is, I would send you one.
I'll go ahead and send you one. I think my personal Facebook's like on complete lockdown. I don't think like anybody can get. It's like Fort Knox basically. So.
Oh yeah, send me a friends request. I appreciate that. That would be great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, it might be a month or so before. Well, it's going to be at least a couple of months or so before this gets out. Just be very, very patient with me on that. But like I said, with my show now on 2 hours, it's going to allow me to shoot these out here, these interviews out faster. Interview 56 plays this Sunday, and there's sometimes I'll be able to play two within the 2 hour spot, but interview 56 and you're number 82, so you got a little wait ahead of you. But if you're patient, we'll get you on there.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be patient. I will be waiting though, for sure.
But I'll definitely give indication to you whenever it's up. And I was gonna say though, before you go, I was wondering if you would do a plug for my show.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of plug you want?
Just say your name and state who you were in Superbad. And my name is Greg Gilbert. My show is called Python's Paradise, and I'm from New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay, Greg. All right, I'm gonna write this down really quick because my memory's like shot at this point. We got Greg Gilbert. I remember your name.
Yeah. Python's Paradise is the name of the show.
Python's Paradise.
And New Brunswick, Canada.
Canada. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to do this?
You're ready. Go.
All right. My name's Casey Margolis. I'm the dick drawer from the movie Superbad, and you are listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise in New Brunswick, Canada.
Well, we're celebrating 10 years of Superbad. How awesome is that, huh?
Oh, it's crazy. It's awesome. Super cool, man.
Maybe in a couple of years when the Hangover reaches its 10-year anniversary, I'll have you back in and we can recite all this. Maybe then I'll have seen some of your other films and we can go into those into detail.
Hopefully. That'd be great.
Well, send me that friends request, and then we'll keep in touch. And good luck out there. Don't be discouraged, man. I mean, I reached out to you. I found you interesting enough that I would reach out to you. And I didn't know what your name was beforehand, I was like looking up Superbad, and I was like, oh, this guy's on there. I can find him, and I reached out. So I think you're fantastic. So forget what those other people said, Listen to Rob Riggle. He knows.
Yeah, I will follow the wise words of the Riggle. So. I appreciate it, man. Now, I'm not doing too much acting these days. I have a digital marketing agency out here. So I'm a little bit busy with that. But if my friend in Canada, he ever has another role available for me, I'm definitely gonna take that.
Well, there you go. Well, Casey, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your experiences with us and celebrating Superbad and The Hangover and your other films.
No problem. Thank you, man.
Yeah, God bless you, man.
Thanks, man. You too.
Yeah, take care.
You too.